Hey everybody, back with another episode of How We Beat the Seahawks. Again, thank you for all those of you who are tuning in and watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you want to interact a little bit about it, you can always head over to 49erswebzone.com, head into the forum section, and there will be these videos linked in the thread, in its own thread in there, and you can always discuss it. So I wanted to finish up this overtime running the ball series. This is the play that ends up winning us the game. Um, right after the last two plays I showed, we had a run that actually got stuffed for a 5-yard loss, and then we had we called a pass play, and there was defensive pass interference on Shaquille Griffin. And so this is the very next play. What's amazing about this play is we got a fifth string running back in there, but if you remember the previous ones I showed, we came out in 21 personnel and we ran a counter zone to the weak side. So we had use check in here, we motioned him over, and then or we motioned him over this way, and then came back and ran a counter off that, and then or sorry, excuse me, we had a counter zone to the strong side, and then the next play we had a counter man play to the weak side. So we've been attacking. We attack strong. We attack weak. We're going to come back out and attack the strong side. Because remember, Seattle plays this 4-3 under that we play, where we have the Sam backer is out in like a wide nine standing up. The advantage of a 4-3 under is that you really help defend your edges. And you protect your strong side tackle. Because in a normal 4-3, just if we were in a regular base 4-3, this linebacker would be where Bobby Wagner is, and Bobby Wagner would be where Calitro is, and you'd actually have a safety standing up out here. And what you'd have is this defensive end would be outside shade of the tackle. This defensive tackle would be in a 3 technique, which would be outside shade of this guard, and your 1 technique would be on the weak side. What the 4-3 under does is move your 3 technique to a 1 technique, or what we call the under tackle, and then your 1 technique shifts over to a 3 technique, which allows for this wider set from your weak side defensive end, or what we usually refer to as the Leo. Now he's in like a wide 9, where he's going to be way outside this tackle. The idea is that the 4-3 under gives you the edge setting principles of a 3-4. Where a 3-4 you generally have a 5 technique, a 0, and a 5. And then you have your outside linebackers out here in covering these 7, 8, 9 gaps, or 6, 7, 8, 9 gaps, that now you have guys that are outside, so you can set these hard edges, keep everything between the tackles. That's what they want, and that helps protect against these stretch zone plays, because when you're running a stretch zone, the read for the running back is going to be it's a one cut. He's given either his one cut is to run this direction and stay that direction, or he has to make a choice and cut back up. He gets one cut, and so he has to choose either one. If you can set a hard edge out here, if you can block this up and set a hard edge, then he's only going to have one choice, and you will know every time he's going to have that choice. And so these linebackers will fly up and look to take away that cutback. So here's one way that you counter that, knowing that they're going to be in this 4-3 under where they're setting hard edges. You can then use these wide alignments to your advantage. So what we're going to do is we're just going to run a straight up power. We're going to run what's going to be this would be your 0 gap, this is your 2 gap, 4 gap, and 6 gap. This would be a 6 gap power. Sometimes it's referred to as like a 26 power. John Gruden calls it a 46 power. He usually refers to the running back as a 4-6. Sometimes he even refers to him as a 9. So it'd be like 96 power. If you remember ESPN, a lot of times he would talk about 94 power, 96 power. That's mostly what he was talking about. When I played in high school, we just called this the 2-back and this the 3-back. And so, if it was 26 power, that was the 2-back through the 6 hole. And power was referring to blocking scheme. I know if you watch the video that somebody linked with his name is escaping me, the guy that was head coach of the Detroit Lions for a little while. Anyways, he was talking about he referred to this play as punch. He said, the Colts never ran punch. That's the same thing as power. Um, and what this is going to do is you get down blocks, much like the counter run. We're going to see a down block from your guard to the one technique. This is one downside of the 4-3 under, is that it does leave you more susceptible to some strong side power runs, because now where you had a 3 technique where it would be out here, where so being a regular 4-3, it makes it a little bit harder to run between the tackles on the strong side, because you don't have quite the angles. You'd have to run up the one gap, or the zero gap. Sorry, excuse me. The one gap's over here. You'd have to run through the zero gap. It makes it a little bit different if you have a good 3 technique. But anyways, we have a block down here. We have a combo block here. So McGlinchey and Kittle are going to combo block here, and then Kittle, what they're trying to do is, contrary to the counter run that we saw earlier, he's going to look to help get him over, and then he's going to try and move up and block a linebacker. That's his job, is going to help here, get him under control, and then move to a linebacker. And then we're going to have Juszczyk come out and kick out the M-loss, or the end man on the line of scrimmage. It's going to be Mingo. The center is going to block down this way. Staley's just got the D end on the weak side, and then we're going to pull Laken Tomlinson around up through the hole, and then this is Jeff Wilson is going to run up through this hole. So this is just a straight power man play, which is able to account for everybody on their side. One thing to understand is, in this 4-3, this stack backer, and just another side note here, when you hear Shanahan or Saleh refer to stack backers, what they're talking about are linebackers that are stacked behind the defensive line, so that, because in this 4-3 under, your Sam backer is going to be on the line of scrimmage. Now, if we were running a 4-3 over, that Sam backer is actually going to go to the weak side and be over here, and the whole line will shift the other way. But stack backers refers to guys playing behind the line, and this is where I think I've said it before. Sometimes the term between Will and Mike in the 4-3 under gets blown up a little bit too more. A lot of times people will talk about these guys like a regular 4-3, where you have a Sam standing here, Mike right in the middle, and your Will over really on the weak side. In a 4-3 under, these guys are more like 3-4 linebackers, that it's not going to be the same, because we can call 4-3 under, we can call 4-3 over, and basically these guys' roles flip. So what you're looking for are mirror guys here that are going to be sideline to sideline, attack and run and fill holes. Because this is a one gap responsibility. So these linebackers are responsible for a single gap. This guy, his responsibility is, if it's a strong side run, he has the strong side B gap. This linebacker has a strong side C gap, and the reason for that is because he's going to be setting so hard of an edge. This guy has to be able to attack here and hold his man down, and so you have a linebacker filling that hole and a linebacker filling that hole, and then this guy, his responsibility to be the strong side A gap. And so then if it was a weak side run, this linebacker is responsible for the B gap over here, and this safety is going to be responsible for the C gap, whereas then the D end is responsible for anything way outside. So him, being that he's responsible for the B gap, they're looking to attack the C gap, and that's why when this guard, he's got to identify this beforehand, who he's going to turn up field to block. So he knows he's going to come up here and look for Wagner, 54. He's going to be coming across and trying to get him, because his responsibility is a C gap. So that's the whole idea with these power runs. So let's go and look at the film here. Here you see the down blocks. You see Person comes down on the 1 tech. You got Richburg coming on the 3 tech. Staley's checking here, and then he's going to protect on a backside. Laken Tomlinson getting to pull. Kittle coming down here on a combo block, and Juszczyk is going out towards Mingo. Kittle does a good job here. McGlinchey really does a good job blocking. They stand their man up. You can see Person is walling his guy off. Richburg is doing a good enough job over here. They're clogging keeping this all condensed in here. Mingo, and see, this is why you can take advantage of this 4-3 under. He's not attacking in, he's setting the edge. And so this allows us to get in, kick him out, and run inside that edge. See, Juszczyk comes in, he does a good job attacking him, kicking him out, and now you have Lakin Tomlinson coming up on Bobby Wagner. And this is where Kittle really deserves a lot of credit. You can see this linebacker, let's back it up. See, he's coming up to fill the B gap. He's coming up to fill the C gap. This is where you understand who you're going to go attack, and that when you can attack these, you know how to attack certain defenses, you can hit them for big plays, because now the linebacker is seeing, okay, it's getting washed over. He's got to come out of his gap and try and fill the hole. But Kittle, because Kittle and McGlinchey did such a great job, they can pick him up. And Lakin Tomlinson is doing a great job. Juszczyk's doing a great job. They're kicking their guys out. It just opens this hole right up. And Jeff Wilson, what he's got to do is just, this is that running through the tires drill that running backs always do, where you dip your shoulders, you run behind your pads, you get small, and run through these arm tackles, because these guys are just reaching out with their arms, and you just keep your feet pounding, and you get through. Kittle does such a great job here. He pancakes Calitro. He just drives him down, and we're off to the races. He's able to pick up 16 yards. This is a running game perfection right here. This is a thing of beauty. The fact that we are able to run such a variety out of our running game is what sets us apart, and what helps set Shanahan apart. A lot of guys can call great running games. A lot of guys can call great passing games. But when you have an offensive coordinator who can call both really well, understands defenses, understands how to attack them, understands how to come back with different things on everything, both run and pass, that's something pretty special. That we can get a fifth string running back here on a 16-yard run in overtime against the Seahawks. The Seahawks are a really good run defending team. That we execute everything here to near perfection. This is just how you draw it up to get a 16-yard run, set us up in overtime for the game-winning field goal.